And we're back. In this one, I want to cover automating rockets. We're going to automate this rocket so that it's 100% self-sufficient. Taken care of. We don't have to manually interfere, and it will go off and get us resources. But there's a couple of things I just want to knock out of the way with really quickly, and the first one is this research rocket we're firing off. One of the things about it is uh, there's this odd thing where you're doing research where, let's see here, we've actually got it all. This is all of the actual space research done. So now that that's done, I don't actually need any more data banks. Now that I don't need any more data banks because I have all the tech, your priorities change. Basically, what we want now is we want to gain access to the best resources we possibly can. To do that, let's just have a look here. Where is it? Yeah, the best resources we can get usually are these close by ones. We're basically looking for isoresin, niobium, and fullerene. So we've got several planets close by that have all of those. Everything beyond that we don't care about, except for this one, which we'll get back to in a minute. All of these ones beyond it, they've got resources, but we don't really care what the special ones are. Just the turnaround time, it's 3 cycles to here, 6 to here, 9, 12, 15. It's 3 cycles extra every section you go out. Oh, actually, that was something I discovered recently as well. If we go to skills, uh, if you get rocket navigation, it gives plus 10% to rocket navigation efficiency, which basically results in it takes 10% less time to get to where you're trying to go. But we'll grab this research rocket. I've reconfigured it so it can go all the way. We're not going to bother researching these planets. We don't care about them. They can stay undetected. We're going straight out to the gas giants. The reason being everything beyond the first 3 to 4 uh, rings, we don't care. There's nothing there that's profitable. However, these can be profitable. These solid items here may be something that are useful for us. For example, if we found, say, niobium and fullerene here, we would just bring back nothing but niobium and fullerene so long as we sent solid cargo wagons. Because the hydrogen and natural gas is a gas, it can't actually take up cargo space. So we'll only bring back the uniques. So I want to scout these quickly to see if they're actually worth going to. So we'll just send that rocket off there. And once this rocket comes back, I'll send it to the other one as well. Did I launch that? No, there we go. And that's our first hydrogen rocket launched. Now, close the door before I forget about it again. Yeah, you never can really automate the research rocket. There's nothing much you can do about it. Now, quick look here at the hydrogen. The hydrogen is flowing around. We don't have an awful lot stockpiled. How much we got? Yeah, 156 kilos plus whatever's in the pipes. The oxygen, we are swimming in liquid oxygen now. We're up to over 5 tons. That's not exclusive of the stuff that's in the pipes as well, already flowing around. Now, next thing we want to do is we want to launch this here. This is the biological cargo rocket. This is so we can get our hands on some. Oh, actually, I should queue up an astronaut to get in here. What is this? Number 4. Yeah, I put the numbers down here just so I could remember which one's which instead of counting all the time. And you are going to be number 6, so number 6 can get in there as well. Now, with these biological cargo rockets, you can't actually stick shipping rails on them. And because you can't stick shipping rails on them, you can't really automate these 100%. Well, I don't know. Maybe they drop out. Maybe I'm misremembering things, but I'm pretty sure you have to empty these manually as well, which means you can't do anything. You're stuck. Can I say you're stuck actually manually emptying these? Thankfully, you really don't need. Well, you don't really need that many Wheezeworts. You'll have to run out a few manual missions, but 5, 8 manual missions, you should have more Wheezeworts than you're ever going to require ever again. Now, where is my astronaut for this one? I've set it to level 9. Yeah, make it level 9. So we're just going to fire this one off to the actual Wheezewort planet, this one here. So I've configured that with the correct amount of fuel, the correct amount of everything, so we can launch the mission out to there once the astronaut shows up. I figured out how much fuel I needed by actually going onto the rocketry calculator. I'll put the rocket calculator link in the description of this one as well. So it's 1,237 kilos of fuel and 1,237 kilos of oxygen. Now this one here is the one we're going to be automating fully. This is the one we're going to be making sure that we never have to touch again. Now I'll go over the reasoning behind why the rocket silo was built this way, the layers of it and all that. But first, we're just going to, well, deconstruct this. Yeah, I'm afraid this dupe is going to be trapped in there. Actually, before I deconstruct that, I'm going to want to actually put in the automation. That would probably be a better idea, wouldn't it? So we'll extend you out again. For automation on these things, we are going to be using all steel. Let's make sure we get all our steel up and running. Yep. So you've got two ports on these things. If you just hover over them, it'll tell you what they do. This is the output. Becomes active when the rocket launch checklist is complete. So once everything's loaded up, the astronaut's in, you've got your suit on board, destination picked, it's fueled, it'll send out a green signal on this. This is the launch input. If you send a green signal in here, it will launch the rocket, assuming the doors are open and everything else is set. So what we're going to do here is just some very simple automation. We're going to have an AND gate here and an AND gate here, and one hydro sensor which we'll place out here. Okay, so this is hopefully not too confusing. This is going to send out an on signal when it's ready to launch. Then we're going to throw it into this AND gate, and we're going to hook up the hydro sensor to this AND gate. So if the hydro sensor says, yes, you're good to launch, and the rocket says, yes, you're good to launch, a launch signal will be sent to the rocket. Only when those two agree will the launch signal be sent. Pretty straightforward. However, we still have to open the doors. So for that, we link this same output that'll go, okay, I'm good to launch, then it's going to send the signal up here going, yes, I'm good to launch, to open the doors. If the hydro sensor also agrees that it's good to launch, then it will also send a signal that, yes, open the doors. And then we'll just run this automation wire over here. We'll make it all out of steel. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use all steel because I don't want to mess around with this. And this will go up here. We'll put that there. Deconstruct these wires for the time being. Actually, just that one. Actually, yeah, just that one should be fine. And then put in one last automation wire right about there, made of steel. So if the hydro sensor says, yes, you're good to launch, and the rocket says, yes, you're good to launch, if both of those agree, the doors are sent a message to tell them to open. Once the doors are open, well, at that point, these two are still going to be saying, yes, we're good to launch. They'll send a launch signal down to the rocket, and the rocket will launch once the doors have completed opening. Now, back in the olden days, yes, the olden days, you couldn't really do something like this. Rockets would try to launch straight through whatever was in front of them, including doors, which meant if you tried to do a system like this, you just smash straight through the doors when you try to take off. But since they've been modified so that doesn't happen anymore, it just has made life an awful lot simpler. Actually, yeah, I didn't think of that, did I? I'm going to want to put ladders up there so I can get to that. So that will be that. Then we still need to worry about this down here, the scanner. Scanner set to cargo 6. Yep, this is all the rockets are labeled 1 to 6 at this point. We've got cargo research 1, cargo 2, cargo 3, cargo 4, cargo 5, and cargo 6. They're all out of order. I should really demolish some capsules and rebuild them in order, but I'm not going to. That's just more effort. So we need to get this actually in on the action so it opens the doors when the rocket comes back. So for that, we're just going to run an automation wire up here. Yeah, we're just going to use all steel. I have enough steel that I'm not going to care too much. I'm going to have to wait until that's deconstructed, unfortunately. That will go up there. It'll hop across this. Now, the reason we're hopping it across the hydro sensor, you'd think I could just plug it into the hydro sensor and that'd be that. Well, no. This has to be able to send the signal when the rocket is actually coming back. So when the rocket's coming back, we want to send a green signal up to the doors to open. So to do that, we can't actually put it into any of these AND gates because we need to have a green signal coming out of the rocket as well. And since the rocket's not there, that's not going to happen. So instead, the signal from down below is just going to hop across all of these. Well, once the game finishes saving, of course, it's going to hop straight across this hydro sensor, go straight up and tell the doors to open. So no matter what any of this is doing, once the scanner detects that there's a rocket inbound, it will just open the doors. So that way we've automated the opening of the doors. The doors will also automatically close once the rocket has landed. And the rocket won't open the doors again until it's ready to launch again. And it will only launch again when all its cargo is emptied and... Oh, what happened there? Oh, yeah, never mind. It'll only launch again once all its cargo is empty and it's refueled. Until that point, it's just going to sit here. Now, the rest of it all comes down to just design. By that I mean, how can I explain this without seeming crazy? Never mind. We need to basically make this maintenance free. That's the whole plan. That's what we're trying to do here. So to do that, what I've done is I've designed the rocket silo so that regolith can't get out of it, and any regolith that ends up in it will be crushed by the rocket. That's why these rocket silos are exactly 7 tiles wide. So when the doors are open, meteors can come in. We can't control if the rocket's going to be landing or taking off in the middle of a shower, so we just got to account for that. So basically, any meteors that get in here will just smash off the walls, and all the regolith will end up down here at the bottom. When the rocket lands, it will crush any regolith that's down here, turning it into debris. And if, say, the door is open and there's a bunch of regolith already on top of it, it falls down. When the rocket takes off, it'll also smash all the debris. And we've got some doors in here so that our dupes can get in and remove the mess. Now, some people have went with doors underneath their rockets as well, and they open the doors when the rocket's launched and the debris falls down. That can potentially have overheat issues. I don't know. Maybe it can be worked, but I was doing stress testing on these with well, I used a glitch to make them fire excessively. Basically, they sat in the rocket silo and the rocket engine just went off constantly, and it had a tendency to melt bunker doors or overheat them. So in the end, I just went with something that required dupe interaction. Not perfect, but at least I was 100% sure I wasn't going to have problems. Once you get through all the automation section of this, the rest is just designing your system so that they can't get gummed up by regolith. Now, there is of course one minor little exception to that. Oh, actually, cancel. I want to cancel one of these things. Where is it? Bunker tile. Cancel bunker tile. These exit rails, these conveyor rails. I'm trying something new in this one. Now you see these conveyor rails there. They're what's actually letting the cargo unload. So the cargo will basically, the moment these land, the cargo will start running across here, dump down into here, and follow this cargo rail. Now, excuse the scrolling, but this cargo rail basically goes all the way down here and dumps into my collection pit where I've stored all the resources on the map are here. Pretty much everything. There's 9,000 tons of stuff down there, literally. So once this is all unloaded, it's automatically going to try and launch again. That's the last leg of automation. Now, the reason these bunkers are 2 tiles thick is meteors that hit at an angle, they actually can spawn regolith on the opposite side of a wall. They can't do it though with a 2 tile thick wall. So any regolith that spawns would, well, the problem is if you don't have a 2 tiles thick, any regolith that comes in here can potentially cause me annoying problems. Those annoying problems being consisting of it gumming up ladders so I can't get my dupes in and out of areas. Now, have we done all of that? Yeah. Now, I'm going to leave these here. There was a mention by, was it someone in the comments, Bob Terminator, I think it was? Yeah. He was telling me that there's no need for this naked scanner. I was advised that as of now, the scanners will detect the rockets in plenty of time to open the doors. Now, I haven't tested this yet, but I'm going to test this once I have multiple rockets up and running. I'll just basically lock these doors so the duplicates can't get in here. I've left these doors in here so that they can repair the bunker doors if they get damaged. But I'm going to test it by basically locking these doors and leaving a few of the rockets just running constantly without that naked scanner to help detect them coming back. If I don't get any smashed bunker doors in a few hundred cycles, that would be a good indicator that it's not working properly. Oh, and yes, these insulated tiles here. The reason I'm putting these here is because these conveyor rails, if I pass them through the bunker tiles, the outgoing contents has a tendency to heat up an awful lot. These bunker tiles are going to get very, very, very hot. The insulated tiles, not so much. So this does leave me a problem though. If a meteor comes in at an angle and hits that, it will start damaging that tile. Eventually it'll break it. And then if a meteor comes in at an angle again after it's broken and lands in here, it will spawn regolith on the other side. I have an idea how to deal with that, but I'm not going to worry about that just yet. If you don't want to deal with this, just put in bunker tiles. You'll then have to deal with hot stuff coming out of your cargo wagons because they'll get heated up by the bunkers, but c'est la vie. Now, how are we looking on everything? Why is that sending out a red signal? Destination not selected. Okay, so everything here is ticked green except for destination not selected. Once we select that destination, we should be good to go. Oh, actually, wait, no. I went onto the rocket calculator to figure out how much fuel I was going to need this. We're sending this to the closest planet. So let's see, there's the fuel getting pumped in. So once that's full, we'll be good to launch. Now, when this does come back, it's basically going to land right here, and it will immediately start getting refueled. If multiple rockets land at the same time, I don't care. If it takes them a little bit longer to get fueled up, I'm not going to go to that level of optimization. Just as long as they launch regularly, I don't care, and I don't have to deal with it. I don't care. There's no need to get too fancy about this. Oh, and one last thing that I find very entertaining is what's it? It's these scanners down here. If you look at energy and power consumed, yeah, where is it? Huh. No, they are actually consuming power. Why are you two consuming power? Oh, they can detect the rocket. Let's try this one over here, actually. This should be a lot simpler. Where's power? Yeah, excellent. So you'll notice here there's two space scanners. when these space scanners, when their rocket is not there and they can't detect it, they don't draw power. So this space scanner over here is not actually drawing any power right now because its rocket is not there. And since its rocket is not there, it's not detecting anything. It's not drawing any power, which means these things only draw 120 watts of power while the rocket is on the ground. Once it's in the air or in space, they don't care. So these things are actually quite cheap to run. It's the exact same with if you set them to meteor scanning. They don't actually cost power while they're waiting for meteors to show up. They only cost power while the meteor shower is in effect. So they're actually quite energy efficient. I don't know if they'll change that in a future patch. We'll have to see. This should be fully fueled up now. Let's go to the star map and let's grab a carbon asteroid. Which one would I get decided on? Yeah, actually, I want this one. Uh, Namely, this one has slightly more isoresin, but it also has abyssalite, which I don't want. And while it only has 1% more isoresin, this one has far more diamond, and I do like diamond. Yes, no, it makes wonderful temperature shift plates. So we'll launch the mission, and let's see if it opens the doors. Oh, there we go. For example, you can see here, this is sent at the green signal going, yes, I'm ready to launch. This also agrees it's ready to launch, so it sent the on signal up here to the doors. And it's also sending the launch signal here, but it won't launch because its path is currently blocked. Launch path blocked. Until its launch path is blocked, it won't attempt to launch. Oh, and one hugely important thing I forgot. This hydro sensor. Why is this here? Why do we need this? This is the stop button. And by that I mean, when this rocket is away, just say you've changed your mind and you want to change destinations for your rocket. Well, if you didn't have this here, what you'd have to do is break in here and maybe remove some automation wires. Instead, all you have to do here is just set this to above. If I set this to above, when this rocket comes back, it won't take off again. It'll just sit there and wait in the hangar until I make whatever changes I want. So rocket is launched. Meteors are falling down, and all the regoliths got shredded, as you can see. There can still be some meteors that fall in here and fill it up. That's why I have the doors 2 tiles above the floor. That way, if a bit of regolith accumulates in here, the dupes should still be able to get in and out. I'm probably going to have to replace this side with doors as well. I will probably put in doors here as well. I like to give my dupes multiple options to get in and out. We want to make this as basically hands off as possible. We don't want to have to deal with anything at all when it comes to this. Actually, steel there. There we go. So this is basically a 100% automated launch silo. The moment that rocket comes back, it's going to fly off again and go straight back to that planet. Done, dusted, finished. Now, how's this one going? No astronaut assigned. No, there is definitely an astronaut assigned. It's Astro 4. But that's it. That's the automation. I'm going to include the save file as standard with this so you can go and have a play around with it. I know it looks ridiculously simple. It's just 2 AND gates. And the only reason for the AND gates is so that we can turn it off when we want to make adjustments. That's it. So, where are we? Skills. Where is Astro 4? Astro 4. Yeah, you're all trained up. Priorities on Astro 4. Yeah, this happens sometimes. It's very frustrating. Astro 4. Now, rocket launching is technically classified as tinkering or operate. So if you check operate up here, where is it? Yeah, you'll see there space affected errands, space mission. So they should immediately hop in there to start operating the rocket because now that's their highest priority. One other thing, Scientist Astro 4 still not actually showing up. What was the other thing I wanted to cover? Oh yes, glass. When it comes to glass, some people like to use glass for their solar because, well, glass seems like the obvious choice, right? It seems like you should be using it. The problem with glass is it's not as good as mesh tiles or airflow tiles. Mesh or airflow, I should say. Glass tiles will block 10% of the incoming light. One layer of glass tiles will block 10% of the light, meaning it actually reduces the efficiency of your solar panels. On the bright side, it can stop gases and things like that. So if you need to pressurize rooms and things like that, that's great. However, the only 2 gases that don't block light as well are oxygen and hydrogen. Natural gas, carbon dioxide, chlorine, all of those, they actually block light. And because they block light, you don't really want to be pressurizing any areas where you're trying to get as much light as possible. Just something to be aware of. Glass tiles, they're okay. It's just you're usually better off with mesh and airflow in space. It's just the way it is. There's been talk that this was unintentional, and some people are saying it is intentional that they've left it this way because it used to be that decor and light, artificial light, like from light bulbs, would pass through them. But then they changed it so artificial light wouldn't pass through it, and decor wouldn't pass through it, but regular light still is. And there's been no patch to change that. So, okay, we'll see how that works out. Now, so this is having a hard time loading up. I'm going to do some troubleshooting on this just to figure it out, and we'll just cover launching biological rockets. But that's pretty much how to automate a rocket silo entirely. You don't need to worry about this anymore. As for being able to repair the bunker doors up here, assuming there's no problems with the scanning anymore, as in the scanners will always detect them. If the scanners will always detect rockets coming back, even if there's a meteor shower and they have zero scan quality, then these doors up here can be ripped out. We won't need them. We can actually do an awful lot of modifications just to make this a little bit more efficient, and we won't have to provide as much access for our dupes. As for the rest of these silos, they're all eventually going to end up the same. It's going to require an awful lot of steel, but they all will end up the same. Now, I'll come back to this on a later video, probably in the tidy up video, just to see if I can find a way around this, because I would like the stuff to come out of here chill. Oh yeah, I'm just going to skip forward in time a bit here while I figure out how to get Astro 4 to actually go to his assigned job. Simplest fix, deconstruct and reconstruct the command capsule. I'm not going to reload. It actually takes me longer to reload than it would just to do this. I'll come back in a little bit once this is rebuilt, and we'll rename it and put the astronaut in, but that should hopefully fix the problem. What do you know? It turns out deconstructing and reconstructing it fixed the problem. Turn it off, turn it on again. All done. Now, this one here we are going to be sending to get us some Wheezeworts. Namely because Wheezeworts are just so incredibly useful. You can start cutting down on your power requirements by using them to chill down your steam geysers and provide some of your cooling sources for the less, well, cooling intensive applications. I mean, we are using quite a bit of power at the moment. Actually, I'll have to do a quick check on my power grid. Show star map. Let's go to Ice Planet. I've configured it already with the correct amount of fuel. If you check over here, 40,006, well, let's round it up to 7, 40,007 kilometers. So, yeah, pretty straightforward. That launches, and then what happens is when it comes back, we'll have a bunch of Wheezeworts we can pop out and we can start. I'll run about, I'm not sure exactly how many missions, but probably 5 to 8 missions just to get Wheezeworts, just to have a whole bunch lying around. It's always better to have them and not need them, type of thing. Close the door. Unfortunately, you can't automate that yet, so we'll have to see. Now, I will actually zip forward in time and we'll cover when this returns so that we can watch it land, offload its cargo, and refuel. Now, once I get all three, I'm actually going to launch this one as well. This one is going to become a cargo holder to get us steel. One thing you need a lot of, space is sort of like a bootstrap thing. You need steel to get into space, and then to finish space, you kind of need even more steel. So one thing you're going to end up doing is going out a lot to the satellite planets. I usually end up sending the majority of my rockets to the satellite planets, and basically because I just want lots and lots of steel. Now, if I can get some fullerene and niobium while I'm there, or even isoresin, there's more fullerene and niobium. Which one has the most steel? We got 37 and 31. It's fullerene and niobium. This has much less niobium but a lot more steel. I think I'll stick with the one with more niobium. It gives me less steel, but the niobium is actually more valuable. So, yeah, I'm going to be heading out to that one. So, sign an astronaut, and then we just need to figure out how much fuel I need to stick in this sucker. 1 second while I check the calculator. It's 928 kilos. So, 928 for oxygen will make you max, and then an extra 28 in the second fuel tank. So that's 928. We effectively are going to do the exact same thing here. We are just going to launch this off, and then I'll probably build in the, I'll probably build in the automation now. Yeah, why not? It's pretty simple to do. So, one there. Oh, this is all made out of steel because otherwise it will melt. That's very important. We'll put that right about there. Automation wires, pretty straightforward. You go into there and go up one, and you are going to be the output, so you're going to go into there and go down one. Yeah, that's when you're ready. Okay, so doom, doom. I've messed this up, haven't I? Yeah, I have messed this up. Let's grab the automation again. Oopsie. Yeah, that goes there. And that goes there. Now, automation wire. So you go to there, you go into there, you go over to the hydro sensor that I should have placed there. And the hydro sensor is also going to link into that. That is also going to link into that, and that will link back to here. And that's it. That's pretty much the entire depth of I wanted to cancel you. That's pretty much the entire depth of the automation you need for this. Now, we're going to want to put a ladder segment right about there. That should allow access to the whole thing. Once that's all built, oh, actually, yeah. One moment. I think I'll just fast forward this bit while I rapid build these. Okay, automation right to there. Deconstruct. All right, and that's pretty much it. That should already be set to cargo 5. Oh, this one is set to meteor showers. Whoops. You should be set to cargo 4. Yeah, when I constructed the command capsule, it wiped the memory on that. One handy thing about these, though, is if you do change the name of a rocket, these will automatically update. It's not the name of the rocket to keep track of, it seems. We can get rid of that. Get rid of that. And for automation, we want to actually get rid of some of the wires that are in here. Perfect. Get rid of that hydro sensor. Boom. Now all we have to do, show star map, and we want to send you to here. Launch mission. And now that should all have turned green. Nope, I've messed something up, haven't I? What's wrong? What are you missing? That doesn't make sense. Oh, wait, no, here we go. It's turned green. I had it paused. My bad. And then that's pretty much the same thing. Now all I have to do is finish off the wall in, put in the steel walls. The shipping rails are already installed. They're all going to feed onto this one shipping rail, and there's going to be one shipping rail at the bottom of the map that empties all the cargo. There's no need to go too crazy with these things, to be honest. And there we go. Done and dusted. Second rocket completed with automation. It's literally that simple. And this will just keep coming back and going out and coming back and going out. You just have to make sure to wall them in so that you can deal with the regolith automatically. That's all that's going to really slow you down here is managing the regolith. So you have to build these sort of stupidly large steel walls. You could squash them up higher against the edge of the map, but if I do end up running a rocket all the way out to the very last gas giant, all the way out to here, a cargo rocket out here, I need them exactly this tall so I can fit in that cargo rocket. So that's why I've chosen that the floor is exactly this far down. So floor is exactly 46 tiles from the top of the map. Anyway, I'm just going to skip forward a bit in time here. Okay, this rocket is about to return. So I just want to try and slowly go over the automation that's about to happen. It's pretty straightforward. Once you've seen it a couple of times, you'll know exactly what you're doing. We'll just cover the automation first. This is sending out a red signal because it's not ready to launch just yet. It'll always send out a red signal once it's launched. Now, the first thing that's going to happen, though, is these cargo rails are going to start dumping off cargo. And right about now, come on. There we go. So it started landing, and the cargo has started coming off. It's going to go out on these cargo rails. Simultaneously, this has started fueling up. So it's fueling up. It's dumping cargo. Now, the cargo is going to take a little bit of time, but the doors are closing. This is important because if this were to try and launch right now, it would technically classify those doors as open. Those doors are classified as open until they're finished their animation. So it takes a bit of time for the cargo to unload, which gives it a bit of time so that, for example, it's just finished closing the doors there. And if we check the fuel, yeah, we've already been loaded a while. So once all of this cargo has cleared, well, and by cleared, I mean it's escaped this conveyor rail, we should be good to go, and we can then launch the next section. And we'll just speed this up a bit. You can see the little full dial on the side going down. Once that's all done, we'll be able to, it'll effectively just launch itself. No interaction from us, no nothing. And come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, is that gold? Steel. Nice. And there we go. It's finished. Let's check with the doors are already opening. Automation is already green. And now we have our second rocket launch. And that will continue to do that constantly, so long as I keep feeding it fuel. That's it. Done and dusted. Conveyor rail here, you can see it's all ending up over here, and we're just dropping it in a hole. You used to have to put together annoying storage systems, maintain every item. It was all sorts of complexity. Now, conveyor chute, stuff gets dropped down. What are we up to? A lot, like 9,775,000 tons. So that's 2 rockets completely automated. I'm just going to finish off the walls on this one and the doors. Actually, I might just leave that open. I'm actually running out of steel. I think I had about 70 tons at one point. I'm down to 1.6 tons right now. This rocket, however, will be bringing me back steel. I'm going to configure this rocket once it's done a few cargo missions to come and bring back steel. My first hydrogen rocket is also going to bring back steel. This research rocket will continue to do its missions, and this rocket here, I will probably not kick that in immediately. The reason being, those first 3 are going to be hydrogen, and I haven't really done the math on how this is going to work out just yet. I might not be able to run 3 hydrogen rockets. I might have to switch one of these back over to to petroleum. But maybe I can squeeze out 3 hydrogen rockets. The funny bit is the more oxygen you're producing, the more hydrogen you're producing. So if that oxygen backs up and stops, I don't need any more because I'm not spending it fast enough, I'll actually be producing slightly less hydrogen, which will eat into my hydrogen production. Just one of those little quirks of the game. Anyway, I think we can cut this out here. This covers pretty much all the automation of the game. Well, all the automation of rockets. That's it. Just make sure to build your silos nice and smart. In the end, I'm going to stick 7 temperature shift plates down here. Where's my diamond? Now, these are non-essential. This is just me being absolutely insanely paranoid. The reason I put these diamond temperature shift plates in here is when I did that stress test where I fired the rocket constantly in the silo for a few cycles, it had a tendency to melt the 3 tiles beneath it. But if I put in temperature shift plates, it actually spread out the heat enough that nothing in here melted. I think it was 2 or 3 cycles it fired continuously with a hydrogen and a petroleum rocket. None of these melted. Everything was golden. It just was 100% rock solid, which is the way I like it. Now that that's done, I'll probably just finish off the rest of these rockets. I'll automate them off screen. They're going to be identical to the others. I'm going to have a smash at making this one allow the dupe in and out. I think it can be done. We'll just have these gantries withdraw when it's taking off and come back out again when it's in space. Shouldn't be too hard to automate. Now, after that, the last thing we have to take care of is regolith. That stuff is accumulating. And it's accumulating and it's going to become a problem sooner rather than later. If we check filtration medium, we're up to 3.8 tons of this stuff. I need to start finding a way to dispose of this, and the number one solution to regolith, voles. Lots and lots of voles. In fact, I'm probably going to want to support a rather large vole population because it'll give me loads of meat. So I'll probably extend this on and put in more regolith harvesting and probably some more solar just because. But I'll do all of that off screen, and then I think the next video is going to be shovels, how to automate the farming of them, things like that. Now, I'll be cutting back on the Let's Plays after that. I've been doing about 5 a week, but I want to cut it back to about 3. I'll do about 3 videos a week. Once I finish this Let's Play, I just want to get into some of the better designs. I also want to go over a few maps that people have sent me. I saw a really great one. Was it LTL King? I think it was LTL King sent me in one with, or wait, was it Von Kessen? Never mind. Someone sent me in a great ranching section where they had automated turbination of slicksters so that they could get meat out of them. I'd like to show that off on a couple of other maps as well. But anyway, I'll cut this out here. Hope you enjoyed and good luck.